I feel like this is like barely going into my brain, but I'm enjoying what my brain is getting. I keep holding up the books just because they're so beautiful. There's gonna be so many clips of me saying the same shit. If I was reading this physically, I would be dead. Like I would literally feel like I was reading this until it was time to go to the grave. Like it's so incredibly slow. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am officially starting a vlog for this trilogy, the FARSEER Trilogy by Miss Robin Hobb. I already have a review for the first book, and I think I'm gonna kind of, just in case you don't want to watch that video, talk about my thoughts and opinions basically from what I remember, which I read this over a year ago. It's been a really long time. So, but all I remember about this book is that Fitz has like kind of a school setting situation, and people are really against him using the whatever power is that bonds you with animals basically, and I'm pretty sure that they literally like kill off the animal that he bonds with. And this is very classic fantasy feeling with like a modern writing taste to it. But what I did love about this is I originally gave this book 3 stars, but I love Robin Hobb's writing and the world. I am not 100% obsessed with Fitz as a character, like I know many other people are obsessed with Fitz, but I do love an emotional character, so I feel like I like him well enough. I mean, from the first, like I said, I gave the first book 3 stars, but everybody seems to think that the second book isn't a big improvement. And I have to say I agree so far. I am currently about 30% into the second book. I feel like Miss Hobb has gotten a bit more of the world under her feet. Oh, and the Fool is also a very intriguing character just in general. I feel like it's an incredibly slow-paced, like incredibly slow-paced. Like I remember feeling like I read this it took me forever to read this, and this is like, I mean, look at this is insane. I was wondering if each chapter she starts with this sort of, they're not like excerpts from the world or like books from the world like some other fantasy books that I've read that have like excerpts from, but they're sort of like giving you a little bit of world building detail at the beginning of each chapter. And I don't know if she was one of the first people who kind of came up with this concept of like having some sort of, I think it's an epigraph is what it's called. And the beginning of this book, I don't remember why Mr. Fitz is sick, but he's sick at the beginning of the book, and they don't really know why he's sick. I think that they thought it had something to do with the, like, was it the wit or this, whichever one is the bond with animals. So he starts off being in a completely different place than where he was in the first book, but then he makes his journey back to it. And like I said, I feel like this is what I'm like 180 pages in, and I feel like the pacing is so slow. Like as far as where the character has gone physically is exactly the same. Like he went from wherever he was at the end of the first book, and now he went back to the like kingdom palace area or whatever, the Six Duchess kingdom. But my favorite things about this, like I've already said, is the magic. I love anytime we're dealing with the wit or the skill, and I love just that enough so much to carry me through this whole trilogy. Like I want to read all 3 books just because of that. And Fitz had a vision basically of somebody being hurt, and I'm just very intrigued by that. And like every time that he's meeting with like this cub that he's not supposed to be meeting with, it's a very interesting, like just the last thing I just listened to was like the cub was like, you know, I guess working in Fitz's brain to be like, I think it's Night Eyes, right? Night Eyes is like saying to him, how can this be forbidden if you can do it? You're doing it right now. And because you're doing it, shouldn't you be allowed to do it? Which is just an interesting thing to think about with writing. And I feel like the second book is also doing a much better job of giving the women some agency. I didn't really feel that in the first book. The second book, I feel like again, Fitz is with the queen in waiting, as they call her, and he's saying to her like, okay, but like what if you're out here in the woods and like somebody killed you? And then she's like, okay, well what if I'm at home being bored off my ass? Like she's like, I need to be able to know how to defend myself, and what the hell am I gonna do if I don't know how to do that? So I also enjoyed that. I don't really understand why he's super into the person he's into. Like I haven't really been bought into the chemistry, but like I don't mind a romance, but I feel like it's obviously a pretty minor plot point in the series. And I love his relationship with Burrage, like in the way that he and Burrage is like this father figure to him in a way, even though he's like obviously he's a bastard, like he's the son of a royal whatever, but he's not. I don't remember who his parents. Like one of the parents is on the throne. I don't know. I feel like this is like barely going into my brain, but I'm enjoying what my brain is getting. So I'm just excited to continue and see kind of how the story progresses. I still have a long way to go, but I definitely think that I'm hoping this is going to be at least a 4-star, depending on what happens. Like, I want to be gagged and gooped. I want to be shocked by something at the end of here. I'd be really surprised if somebody dies, but I want to feel things. So, not saying I'd be glad if somebody dies. Obviously I wouldn't be glad, but I like when the emotional stakes are high, and I don't want the love interest to die, listen, this first book had a very tragic scene with an animal, and I don't want that. I'm hoping that we're going to have Night Eyes for a long time, but I guess we'll see. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So I am going to continue reading this, and I'll just update you whenever I have something to say. I am almost halfway through this trilogy, I think. Well, not almost. Once I get to 50% of the second book, I just love these. I love the way these look, which is also a huge factor in me trying to push myself to enjoy these, because are you kidding me? These are absolutely stunning. So I hope the book gods will bless me with love for this series. I mean, I do already, at least I liked it. I mean, 3 stars is not a terrible rating, but this was slow. So like, is this, because it's twice as long, gonna feel slow? Probably. But at least now I have the right expectations going into it. So, okay, it's like 11 o'clock at night, but I just want to update the vlog about how far I'm into this. I'm about halfway, just under halfway through it. And again, I just feel like it's so incredibly slow paced. Like, I feel like I'm halfway through this book, and we have gone like back to the kingdom, back to the woods, and we've spoken to our love interest, and the Fool has appeared a couple times. And when the Fool shows up is when I'm probably the most intrigued. Like, the Fool is the most intriguing character to me out of this series so far. And he just said something like that was incredibly fascinating. And again, I love the world building. I'm going to be so repetitive in this video, I feel like. So hopefully, I just read I've been listening like every single chance that I get, and I'm still only halfway through the book. So that is unfortunately a negative, but I'm just so intrigued by all the other books in the series. So I want to continue. I want to at least finish this trilogy, and then I'll probably read other stuff. And like, I'll probably just like read each trilogy when I'm in the mood for the Elderlings. Like, I'm so fascinated by the world and the way the Fool just discussed like history, and how history is what is currently happening in a way. And I loved that discussion, and talking about the names and why people are named things they are, and like just this thing with the king is interesting. I feel like we're about to start picking up the pace, so I'm very excited. And I already know how it's going to end up, because I idiotically read the synopsis of the 3rd book, but this is so slow paced. I've literally had every single opportunity that I've had to read today, and I was like walking for like 45 minutes earlier. We're doing chores, like driving all over town like today. So, and I'm still only not even halfway through the book. Which, it's crazy, because I mean, I felt that way about the first one, which I already said that too. I'm just, again, the same things that I find interesting, I continue to find interesting, and the things that the slow pacedness of it is like kind of excruciating. Like how slow it is, because especially since I'm used to reading like Cassandra Clare or Vampire Academy, like it's very different. It's very different. But I love her writing. I do love her writing, and like I love the writing and the world, but the characters aren't giving what I normally would like. So I feel like I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna read the trilogy, but I just feel like I also like there's so little to update you on, because so little has happened. Like hardly anything has happened. Somehow we're managing to spend hours and hours with, literally all that's happened is like his relationship with Burrich is interesting. His relationship with the Fool, all of the relationships are interesting. And I don't want there to be like constant action. That's not the type of reader that I am. I just feel like I have so little to say because little has happened, in the sense of like events that are supposed to have any kind of emotional reaction. I mean, like their situation with Molly is, I think I'm supposed to feel more for it than I do. like, out of all the relationships, I feel like his relationship with Burrich is probably the most, like, that I care about the most. I don't really understand why he likes Molly. I don't really feel the chemistry between him and Molly. And the Fool, I'm intrigued by, like, why does the Fool care so much about Fitz? But I don't find, and I find their conversations interesting, but I don't have the really only emotional investment that I have at this point is between Burrich and Fitz. And I feel like every other interaction that's happening is just, it doesn't feel like it's moving the plot along. So like, sounds very negative, but don't get me wrong, like this, I just, like, the slow pace is it's insane. Like, I mean, when people say that it's slow pace, but like, you need to be prepared to be in this world for, I mean, there's been like, I think it's taken me 3 days to get halfway through here. So, and I am enjoying the writing. Okay. And I'm a bit worried. I'm a bit worried about the third book from reviews that I've seen and stuff. And so I know it's going to be even slower paced because I think it's, again, even twice as long. How much, this is what, 600 pages? 648 pages. And book 3 is all the way up to, what is this, like 9? This is 838, but I will, like I said, I'm at least committing to the trilogy. So I will be finishing the books no matter what. I'm annoyed because the way the audiobook is through, I'm using Hoopla to listen to it. And it would be totally fine to go from the audio to the physical, but going from the physical back to the audio is terrible because the chapters aren't marked. And I hate that so much. Like, I really hate that a lot. So I'm just only doing the audio. And also these spines, like the UK spines, I don't know why people don't talk about this, but these UK spines are so stiff and I hate it. But I mean, they're just absolutely gorgeous. They're just absolutely stunning. And the last thing I would ever want to do would be to break these spines. Like, there we go. I am gonna go to bed. And I will update you as I make more progress in the realm of the elderling. Hello, you guys. It is the day before July 4th, and I am 58% into this book. I'm on chapter 19, and I feel like since the last time that I updated you, my enjoyment has gone up, which is obviously good. I feel like we finally got a scene with Molly that made me understand at least why he would like her. Obviously he like loves her at this point, and I don't really get why. But there was a scene where they were talking about the way they discuss like when Molly was like being all silly and talking about all the ways they talk about the other men and Burrich, and I loved when she said something like, yeah, he comes around and he's like super aggressive, and then Fitz is like, I can't believe that he would hurt people, and she was like, no one said they were in pain, like they enjoyed it or whatever. Like, it was just, I don't know. I'm obviously like, this is not a funny book, but I enjoyed that interaction between them, and I feel like I'm slowly kind of getting my feet into the world, and I feel like now I'm kind of like understanding more and more like Fitz dynamics with everybody. So like I'm enjoying that, and I feel like we're finally I've said before, I love the world. I love the wit, I love the skill, and the way that that's always discussed is continuing to be enjoyable for me. But I have this beautiful, I have to love these books because I want all the nice, pretty editions of these books. So my plan is to be obsessed with these books. But I have to say, okay, I just have to say it. Like, this is the Six Duchess Kingdom world, whatever, right? And we have been, for this entire 60% of this book, the whole 60%, we have been right here, right? This one dot. We have not, as far as I know, we've gone to the forest a couple times, and that's it. We have not done anything. So like, I am down for a quest. I love a quest. Quest is some of it. Listen, there are some tried and true tropes that people hate that I love. I still love the Chosen One trope. I love quests. I love adventure. I love all of that. And I feel like we're about to like get into it. I hope so. I mean, this is a really long quest, but I keep holding up the books just because they're so beautiful. There's gonna be so many clues to me saying the same shit. But okay, I'm enjoying Burrich even more. He's like, and they're introducing like all the people that are about to go on the quest. Like there's like, you know, like that scene in like Pirates when they're like going down the line and like you can see all the people all the people that are going to join you on the quest, and they all have like the little quirks, and like I'm loving that. I'm loving it a lot. I just, yeah, I'm really, I don't understand why people become so obsessed with Fitz, because to me he's just kind of like a self-insert character in a way. I feel like he's not very, at least so far, I don't find him to be, I wouldn't say he's extremely passive. Like he's not extremely passive, but he just feels kind of like, self-insert isn't the wrong thing. I just feel like he's not as passionate as some other characters I've read, I guess. And I feel like I'm being told how he feels about Molly, but I'm not really, and I'm just not seeing it. Like, again, what I love about this series is the world building, I guess. And like every time they talk about anything, like they talk about the rain wilds, and they keep talking about the red chips, and they keep talking about like this is going to be a fool's errand, which I know is like a title of one of the books. So like it just makes me like more excited for the other books, which I feel like isn't the best. Like I feel like I should be more excited about the current book, but like literally when you look at the synopsis, like there's 3 paragraphs, and the 3rd paragraph, I feel like, has that even happened yet? Like maybe I missed it. Like it says that, because this is going to be a spoiler filled video, I feel like. So this says Verity leaves the court in search of the mythical elderlings, but like literally that hasn't even happened yet. Like, and Fitz is talking about how he himself wants to go on this quest. So like, and I mean, we've got Assassin's Quest coming up next. So like, I'm hoping that Fitz is going on the quest, because if he's not going on the quest, then why are we even following his POV? But like, he has to be going on the quest. Maybe Verity leaves on the quest and then Fitz like follows him afterwards or something. I don't know. Also, there was like this really, what's the word? There's just really like throwaway line, but I knew it wasn't throwaway. It was something about like the white ship, and how it was like, oh, if you've seen the white ship, then that means that like you're gonna die. But there's no, I don't know. It was cleverly done, how it was like really subtle, but also not very subtle, because every single character was like, she was like, oh, yeah, I tried to bring it up again, but no one noticed, or no one else acknowledged that it was seen. And the only thing that they say is like, if you can see that, it's really bad. So it's like a death omen, I guess. So like, I feel like this is taking me so long to even understand which one is the wit and which one is the skill. The skill is the one where people can listen to each other, right? And the wit is like the one with animals. And every scene that we're getting with Burrich and Verity and Fitz like going into the woods, like it's cool. It's helping like build their rapport and stuff. But I just feel like I want more plot. But the situation with Molly and Fitz and how they can't be together, I do love me some angst, and I'm pretty sure Miss Hobb's gonna deliver on that front. Like, characters being held apart for circumstances is like, I don't know why, it's just something I eat up. Like I do like it. I just feel like if there's like tension between why they can't be together, when they can be together, it just makes it all that more satisfying. So yeah, I'm gonna continue this, and I doubt I'll finish it today or tomorrow because it's so long. But I mean, it's been what, 3 days? It'll probably take me 2 or 3 more days to finish this, if I continue to listen at every single opportunity that I have to listen to it. Because like I said, she a thick one. She a real thick one. I'm just so worried because I've seen so many bad reviews for this, and I don't want that to be me. All right, I will update you either 20 to 30% into this, or maybe when I finish it, I don't know. But I'll let you know. It's been like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days since my last update. I was trying to, is this like, no, I hate it. Okay, so this is the beginning, okay? I have 8% left of this book, and I feel the same as I've continued to say every single update. I feel like I'm being repetitive, but I love the writing. I love the magic systems. The characters are starting to grow on me. I feel like Fitz and Burrich and his relationship with the king and his relationship with Molly. There's something that happened with Molly that was so like, there was like the scene where he said to Molly, like, I just can't tell you what I do. And Molly was like, how dare you like try to speak for me? Like, give me the information. I need to get the information, and then I should decide for myself. And he's like, well, I'm a murderer. So that was probably one of the most interesting things that's happened so far. And I do feel like and Fitz and the Fool is interesting. Like, his dynamic with every character is interesting. So like, I'm intrigued enough, and I feel like this is starting to feel like 3.5. Like, it's feeling like, because they gave the first book 3 stars, this is 3.5. So I'm hoping the last book will be like a 4-star, but this, I've never read a book so slow paced. Like, I wish that people had told me when I started the series that they were like, it's slow paced. And when I say slow paced, you need to expect it to be 10 times slower than what you're used to with slow paced. And I'm coming from, I mean, you can obviously see my channel, what I used to, I read a lot of YA, a lot of YA fantasy, and very fast paced books. So this is so different. But I am, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there was a point in the book, I don't know if I mentioned it, like it sounded like they were about to go on a quest. I thought they were going to go on a quest. And then somehow we still end up in the same place. And I didn't know that I cared about that. I didn't know that I was the type of reader who wanted to be bouncing all over the place. But, I mean, I am. Because, like, I love to look back at the map and see where we go on the map. Like, that's part of the fun of reading. I was just doing that with Crooked Kingdom last night. And, like, I love the characters going on a journey in the map. Like, I love when they go on a journey, literally. I love when they take a journey metaphorically. And I just feel like Fitz will not go anywhere. Like, and he is so set in his ways. And when Molly is like saying, like, they had a whole conversation where she's like, well, I'm pregnant, so you need to go with me and we need to, like, run away. And he's like, no, I'm loyal to the king. And I guess I get that's who he's supposed to be as a character, and he seems to be sticking to that, but he's also not loyal to, I mean, he's loyal to the king, but then now that the king has just died, like, I think in the chat, like, I literally just read that, like, in the last 10-20 minutes. And I just, like, this synopsis is so not what you're getting, I don't feel like. I mean, I feel like the synopsis makes it sound so much more intriguing. And, like, I feel like every update I've been negative, and I feel like that means it can't be above 3.5. There's just no way for me. But, like, I'm feeling like I feel like the negative aspects are just so present, and I feel like it's just because I'm so used to something so different. So I think it's more my fault than the book's fault. But I mean, I can't change where I'm coming from as a reader. I can't change my experience at this point. And this is like so, I think I don't really care about royalty. I don't really care. I feel like every time I read books with royalty as like a big theme or a big plot point, like, I just don't care. I much prefer a paranormal series or like just anything besides royalty. I feel like royalty is so overdone, and I actually started a list on my phone of like books with royalty, and I feel like I'm gonna have to be in a certain mood in order to pick up books with royalty, because I would much prefer, like, we're not following the king or the queen, so I guess maybe for the time it was more interesting in that case. Like, we're following like the bastard child, which I'm pretty sure this inspired George R.R. Martin to go on, and George R.R. Martin inspired Joe Abercrombie, so like we love all of that, but I just like prefer a much more magical, whimsical story. And I feel like this is much more like, I kind of want to say basic in a sense, because I just feel like it's so, the thing that's above the step above the rest is the writing. Like, the writing in this series is top notch. Like, it's absolutely, like, the writing and the world and the magic and the history and the lore and like the lore and mythology behind it, and the elderlings. Like, I thought we were going on a quest to find the elderlings. I thought we were going on that quest. And like, I've said it before, I keep saying it, like, it's what keeps me going. Is like, but Fitz as a character, I'm not gonna say that I find him insufferable. I don't find him insufferable. I just find him kind of like bland. Like, I just find him so, like, why is he the main? I feel like if we were following like Molly, and we saw, or if it was like multiple POV, I feel like, which I know there's future installments in the series that are multiple POV. So I feel like I love what she's doing with the world, but I just want to be bouncing around in more people's heads. And I feel like I see why this is not necessarily everyone's favorite series by her. Like, this is, I want to read this. I don't want to go back and read this later. I would rather read this now, push through it to get to the good stuff, and then just continuously continue on the series. So I'm going to push through it. And I don't feel like, people seem to either love or hate Fitz, but I am indifferent on Fitz. Like, I just feel like Fitz he does seem to have passion, but it's not coming through to me in a way that I'm used to, I guess. Like, I don't feel like it's written well, and I feel like I can see what it's supposed, but it's not hitting for me as a reader in this sense that I think it's supposed to. Like, he's talking about how they're going to be doing treason because they're not going to be supporting, what is his name? Not Verity, the other one. Like, because they want to support Verity, but they're not supporting Verity. And then I think someone just had a miscarriage, but I'm kind of confused on who that was. So, like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm doing the audio. Maybe the audio is the wrong choice for this, but I do like the narrator. I think the narrator is a good narrator, and I feel like I'm listening to this on double speed, and this is still the slowest. I normally don't. I normally listen on like 1.5 to 1.75, but because this shit is so slow paced, like especially if you're a book talk girly and you somehow are trying to get into adult fantasy, this is definitely like 100 times slower paced than anything you're gonna read from book talk. I don't know. To me, it's odd because I feel like if we're gonna start bouncing around in POVs, like you would think that would make the book feel like a slower pace. But I think that the way Robin Hobb's imagination works, or her writing style works, however you want to say it, I just think that something, because we are in the same spot, this first two books, well, this book, I think the first book we take a few more trips, but it's been so long since I read that book. But this one, I just want him to leave. I want him to leave this place. I want him to get out. And maybe he did and I missed it. I don't know. But every time that I'm reading this book, like I keep Buckkeep. We're still in Buckkeep. We're still in Buckkeep. We're still in Buckkeep. We are still in Buckkeep. Like we have not, to my knowledge, left. We were not in Buckkeep at the beginning in the first like 2 or 3 chapters, but then we went to Buckkeep and we have not left Buckkeep except to go to the forest and hunt with Night Eyes, which I love Night Eyes. I do love Night Eyes. And there was a really, again, the magic system is what's really intriguing here with the skill, and Fitz has not been able to use it in the first 1.5 books of this trilogy, but then he somehow starts to use it, and every time he's using it, like that's super interesting. But then also in the last chapter or two, he can like connect the skill to the wit, which, I mean, if that's the case and he's like the one person who can do it, I guess that makes sense why we're in his perspective. And the Fool is so intriguing every time he shows up, and he's so cryptic, and I love it. So I am enjoying those aspects, but like this is not a book where I'm enjoying every single thing that's happening start to finish. Like it just isn't, and that's okay. I mean, I want it to be, but I can't lie. So that's where I'm at with that. And I'm gonna put my headphones back in. I went to Dutch Bros, and this is supposed to be coffee, but it looks like milk and it tastes like milk, and I feel like I'm literally just drinking milk. Like I literally don't, like normally you have like that little bit of bitter taste from coffee. Like I have none of that. I literally taste like straight up milk, and it literally looks like milk. It was supposed to be a hazelnut hazelnut kicker with blonde espresso, and no. I would die. If I was reading this physically, I would be dead. Like I would literally be feeling I was reading this until it was time to go to the grave. Like it's so incredibly slow. Like, and I wanted to immediately continue the series, but I don't know about that. I might have to just like put this video on pause and go do some other stuff and come back to it. But then I feel like I'm gonna lose I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna cut the camera, clean some more, hopefully finish this, and hopefully have an update. I have, how much time do I have left on this damn book? 2.5 hours at double speed. That's 90 minutes, so 45 minutes. So I should be done in 45 minutes. Okay, well hopefully I'm back today. I mean, I should be back today. I'm supposed to be going to my friend's pool, but I kind of want to not, because we're also supposed to go to a party, and I kind of would rather just go to the party and not deal with the pool situation and having to take a shower for that. So I'm probably gonna just go to the party. But yeah, okay, because I need to clean. I've been needing to clean. I've been saying that probably every single clip, but now I'm gonna actually clean. I have great news. Hold on, I'm just gonna sanitize real quick. Great news. I finished it. I finished this book, and I'm giving it 4 stars. I know I think I said earlier like it's not gonna be more than 3.5, but it's gonna be 4 stars, and an entire star had to be added because of the ending. To the way this ended was absolutely incredible, and I stand by the fact that I think Fitz is kind of bland, but I think that Robin Hobb really excels at making the world feel like it's still turning when you're not in it. I will give her that. And like you just know that there's like whatever POV you're in, like you know there's so many other things going on in the world because of the way she writes. I don't know how to teach that skill, but she does it really well. And the wit and the skill is so interesting, and the way that Fitz is somehow able to use both and somehow connect both is incredibly intriguing, and I'm hoping we're gonna get more on that later, and like, oh, it was so heartbreaking, the stuff with Molly. I didn't fully feel it, but I feel like it's coming together. Like the way this ended was so obviously like Fitz, I don't know if he turned into a rat or what, but he like somehow actually died and like became bonded with Night Eyes fully, but I guess he's gonna be able to return or something. He has to be able to return for there to be all these other books. So like this was such an incredible ending. Like this was such a good ending. It made all of the slow pacedness before it worth it. And like it was just, I still enjoyed a lot of the things about the book, but the pacing is painful. The pacing is painful. It really is. Like, and I don't know. It's like we need to hop around more in people's heads. I feel like it would, I already said it before earlier, like it's gonna help feel like we're not, I don't know. It's just not, I don't know how to, I can't quite verbalize it. But being stuck in Fitz's head is like, there's other characters that are intriguing and you wanted like Burrich or like trying to figure out what's going on with Prince Regal. Like if we could follow the villain, like being in the POV's head, which I think we do in the Madship and the following books and the Life Traders, like I know a lot of people say they like love the way Robin Hobb writes a villain because of the other books. So I am incredibly excited to continue on with this. Even now, just the third book in this series, like yeah. In fact, I was so excited that I already did, and I'm already 7% in to Assassin's Quest. And I also have to say that I was saying before that I thought that Fitz has no passion. And in the first chapter of this book, we see like everything that happens in the first two books and all the events that have occurred to Fitz. He's finally like having a reaction to what's going on. I feel like maybe because he's so young in the first book, he doesn't fully get it. So it makes sense that in the third book, he's finally like realizing, I don't know how to, like he's finally at a point where he's, I guess, processing everything that's happened to him, and he like goes off on Burrich, and like it was incredible. I was like, this is what I meant. This is what I needed. This is what I've been asking for. Like for Fitz to care about something, to have an opinion, to react, to just something, because all he has been in the first two books is just this like chess piece kind of sort of, and I feel like he's just let himself get moved around and just do everyone's bidding, and now he's finally like yelling at people about how he's just been everyone's bitch in a way, and he's just been doing everything he's asked him, and he's been this man who just does whatever anyone asks of him over and over and over again, and he's finally like had enough. And yes, I feel like the passion is here, and I hope that we continue that journey. I hope that we continue to just like really see Fitz like scream and yell and react and try to, like, he wants to get revenge on Regal because of what's happened. Like he just feels like he's just let life happen to him. Yeah, and I feel like that's why he felt so bland in the first two books, because he had so little agency. I feel like I never thought I disliked him as a character. I just don't. He was such a nothing character to me. He was such a, but it's like she intentionally wrote it that way. She intentionally seemed to write it in a way where he was just going through the motions. Like it makes sense why he's written that way, because now, oh my god, it's so, like, I'm hoping that by the end of this, I feel like she's a genius, because like I think that's why I had such a hard time. Like, and I always said, like, I love the writing, I love the world, I love the lore, I love the mythology, but I just think Fitz is really boring. But I feel like we're about to see so much character development in here, and if that's what all of this is, like, I'm gonna eat it up, and I'm so excited, and I cannot wait to report back. So I don't know. I think because I just finished this, I'm either gonna start another vlog or try to do a couple sit-down videos to just get other videos up while I'm working on this project, because this is definitely not gonna be, like, this took me a whole week, and this is probably gonna take me at least a week, if not 10 to 14 days. So I need to get other videos up in the meantime, and I want to do a vlog, but I want to do sit-down videos. I have a whole list of sit-down video ideas, so I'm probably gonna do some of those, and then I'm sure you will have already seen some of those before this vlog comes out. But yeah, like, I know people say the first or this is really good, so I'm worried my enjoyment, it might go down over time, but if it's all character development about Fitz, I might be okay with it, because it feels like I said, I don't know. So, and then apparently Burrich is, I guess they're parting ways at this point, and Fitz wants to go kill Prince Regal because he's like, all the promises that I made and the man I was, and it makes sense because literally, like, the man that you're following in the first 2 books literally dies in here, and we're like getting, he's like, I can't be that person anymore. Like, it's literal, but it's like metaphorical, and it's like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. I don't know, but I will update you when I make progress in this, which probably will be later tonight, if not tomorrow. But just, you know, send happy thoughts on this one. Okay, it has been a long time. It's been, I think, at least a week since I have updated. Anybody who's like doing a reading vlog of this in a week, I don't believe, like, there's this whole trilogy, like, especially, I mean, I'm only reading 2 books in this video. I'm only reading 2 books in this video, and it has taken me forever. But I feel like, I don't know how many times in the second book I said that thing was slow paced, but I'm telling you this, I said it at least 10 times, and I hope that I cut it down and edit it out a little bit, because I know it's just repetitive. It's not fun to say the same thing over and over again. So let's move on. Let's talk about Assassin's Quest, which is feeling like it's gonna be at least a 4-star, if not a 4.5 star. I'm 40%, I'm on chapter 16, and the way that this shit opens up is so good. Like, it takes off immediately from where we left off in the second book. Okay, I was listening to this. We're in a different place. We're finally in a different place. And I don't know exactly where we are, but I know we're not in his hometown, because he's on the run. He's on the run because he was gonna be murdered, and he was murdered, and then he used the wit to get out of his body. Like, it's so good. And we've had, like, he's been using the wit and the skill. He's using both, and literally, like, all of my complaints about the first 2 books, like, this book is like fixing them. It's like making me retroactively feel like what happened in the first book and the second book had to happen in order for us to get this story, and that just makes for the most satisfying experience. So our boy Fitz has taken it upon himself that he wants to kill Regal, which, you know, is like quite an ambitious task to take on, because he's like literally the king, because the king died at the end of the second book, and like he goes to kill him, but then I had to read it twice because I was so confused, because he ends up killing Verity. And when he killed Verity, I literally had to read it again, because I was like, no, he loves Verity. Like, what do you mean he killed Verity? So he killed Verity, and now he's getting this like summons of Verity from like the grave or something, or like maybe Verity has possibly been using the wit or the skill, or both, in order to get Fitz to come to him. And now Night Eyes, who is Fitz's, like, what are they called when you bond with them? His I don't remember what it's called, but Night Eyes and Fitz have a bond, and now somehow Night Eyes has followed Fitz to where he is in the story as well, and now Night Eyes has to go with Fitz, and Fitz has been, I think, and there's this girl, I don't honestly can't, just incredible. It's just incredible. And I'm only 40% in, and I know people say the first third is slow, and I've pushed past the first third, so I'm hoping, people say the first third is the best part of the book, so I'm hoping that it's not gonna like drop off for me. But like, Fitz is trying to get back to kill Regal, and I'm here for that. And I love a revenge story. Like, I love so many of my favorite series have somewhat of a revenge plot line somewhere in there, and I don't know, it's just such a motivating, like, driving force, I feel like. Oh, and let's talk about Molly. So Molly, again, Fitz is now using the skill, which I love. I love that he's using both magic systems. Like, I love that he's using both magic systems. It's incredible. I love any series with 2 magic systems. So let me know. Maybe I should do that. I've been thinking about doing that for a while, like a video about series with more than 1 magic system. So he's using Fitz is using the skill, and he found out that Molly is pregnant. And in the last book, or maybe the beginning of this book, Molly is like telling Fitz she has to be on her way because she has found someone that she's going to care about more than him. And like when you read it, you're first like, oh, like she found a new man. She's pregnant. She's pregnant. And apparently also the queen like had a baby, and people are thinking that the baby is Fitz's baby instead of Regal's baby, which like it probably is. I'm just gonna call it now. It probably is. I don't know. That's like way down the line. I don't know if we're gonna find it out in the second Fitz trilogy or what. But I like this. This is making it all worth it. It's made it all worth it. It's so good. It's so good. And so far, I don't feel like this is. I do feel like it's slow paced, but I don't feel like it's like painfully slow paced. I feel like it's slow paced because we're like really sitting with our characters and our characters' feelings, and this is so character driven in a way that like, even though I wasn't super invested in Fitz in the first 2 books, like what's happening now is making me invested because like I don't know, it just is. Like I feel like I've been this like in the first 2 books we're just like these chill little people just like watching like a simple little whatever, but the ending and Molly and the whole situation and like Fitz just, he feels so passive for the first 2 books, and now he's taking action. I love a character who takes action. I love a character who like gets up, rises from the ashes. Like I love that shit so much. Like a character who is like gonna kick your ass and take names, and I feel like we're finally getting that with Daddy Fitz. Like I feel like we're finally getting some Daddy Fitz energy, and I am loving it. I'm loving it. So, and I love the bond with Night Eyes. Like it's becoming more and more like kind of sassy. Like Night Eyes is like, I don't know, Night Eyes has hooked back up with Fitz, and he's like, I just love the way that they discuss the bond and how the bond is like, it's not that the human is like the owner of the animal. It's like an equal partnership, and you're both utilizing each other. Like it's so good. I knew I loved this magic system, but I feel like now I'm so excited. And then we had, I don't know which character it was. Let me see if I can find the name. I don't know. I can't find the character's name, but there was a character talking to Fitz, and he says to Fitz, like, he's talking, it kind of makes, it sounds like a Wheel of Time thing. And I don't know which one of these came first, but I think this came first, I think. Well, like, I don't know which first book happened, but there's this thing in here where some character is saying to Fitz, he's like, yeah, well, we need to get humans to escape time because time is this wheel and this loop that we're always stuck on, and there's people in history who come in and out of time, and they like they come in and out of time, and they change the course of history. But if we can end time, then we can change everything. And I'm just like, now I'm like, okay, well, that's another interesting fantasy element that like, because Fitz is like, oh, well, if only I'd had more time with Molly, or I'd had more time to do this, or if I could have gotten my time back before this happened. And like, I hope we're going to do something interesting with that also. And if we are, like, I'm really starting to understand why this is so many people's like favorite series ever. Like, yes, I'm so excited. I'm just so glad. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy that my enjoyment is like at a 10. And the first 2 books, I still enjoyed. Like, I gave the first one 3, the second one 4 overall. Like, because that was a 5-star ending, but that was a 3-star for 70%. I feel like so. But the ending really gripped me. But like this again, this just it's making the first 2 books like retroactively better, which is just amazing. It's quite a feat of writing, Miss Hobb. Thank you so much for this, and I will see you guys in the next update. Hopefully I don't know if I'll update you when I'm finished. I mean, this is a lot. I'm sure I'll have, it's a lot, but it's also like so slow paced, so I just feel like I will just update you when it feels right. I finished it. And I honestly feel like I have not updated this specific video in, it has to have been at least 2 weeks. So when I tell you that this took me literally a full month, I think a full month, maybe 3 weeks to read this book. I have no idea where I was the last time I updated you this, and so I said that the second book was painfully slow paced. This book was torture. It was torture. It was painful to get through. It was so slow. And correction, the first third of this book, I was obsessed. I was in love. I absolutely loved the beginning of this book, and I think my brain turned off. My brain turned off at some point in the middle of this book, and I just did not comprehend what was going on. But also, what I was comprehending was so painfully boring. And the way this ends is like literally so fast. Like it ends in a way that like doesn't even feel cathartic or conclusive or whatever. And I thought, okay, the last third of Royal Assassin and the first third of this book, I was like, oh my gosh, now I'm starting to see like Fitz come into his own, like have more of a personality, actually care about things, like. And then the second, third, and last third of this book just changed my entire perspective, and this is like a 2.5. I'm rounding it up to 3 because 37 hours of my life were spent reading this book, so like I can't give it less than a 3. I can't do it, even though it is a 2.5 maybe. But is that even really correct? Because over half of the book, I would say I wouldn't say I disliked it strongly though, because I feel like it was just so slow, and I was enjoying what was happening enough to keep reading. It's such a weird experience. It's such an odd feeling because, like, again, as I've said in the video, I'm sure several times, there are so many things I enjoy, like her writing, the magic system, but I think I just like the idea of the magic system, because when we actually look at what's executed and what's written about the magic system, it is so little and it is so unsatisfying. Like, I just want things to happen with the magic system, and I kept reading the books because I was like, okay, well, like, let me see where she takes this. And like the wit and the skill are so fascinating as concepts, but what are we doing with them in these books? And what we did at the end of book 2 was such a good use of the wit. But then here we are in book 3, and we have even less information about what anything means, how these work. People are using magic however they want, and some people can use it in ways and some people can't use it. I don't know. I don't care. I prefer us. I feel like everyone loves a hard magic system. I prefer a soft magic system. I feel like magic should be unexplained because it is magic. Like, it is not science, it is magic. But I just feel like we don't get enough. It doesn't feel like how I want magic to be described. Like, she doesn't go about it in a way that is soft or is hard. I feel like I don't know. I think she's just trying to get her footing here, I guess. Still, maybe. And Fitz as a character is very bland, in my opinion, still. And I don't understand what happened with Burrich and Molly. Like, they got together. I don't really understand, like, what were we doing in this? But like, what was the point? Like, why were we, like, I was so intrigued. Okay, also, like, I thought that Fitz killed Verity, but I guess Regal killed Verity, and I'm just didn't comprehend what was going on, and maybe that's because I did the audio, but also, like, so many people read this physically and gave it, I could not, there's no way I could read this physically. So long. I need to read, like, the most action-packed plot twist on every page book after this, because this was a chore, especially after the first half. The first half, I still enjoyed all the way up of the first half, and then I feel like even maybe the first, like, 55 to maybe 60%, I was still in it, but the last, like, 30 to 40% are what just killed it for me. Like, it was feeling like at least a 4 for the first half. So, like, I don't know if we just could have, like, cut this. We could have cut, like, about 200 pages could have been cut from this, and it would have been all the better for it. Because what the hell was this? What the hell was this? I'm shocked that people read these 3 books and feel, I'm shocked. Like, I'm just shocked that Miss Hobb, I know this is a well-beloved series, but I'm just like, literally just from these first 3 books, like, this is what kicks off, like, the people's love for Hobb so much, because, like, this is a rough start. Like, the second book was the only book that was good. Like if we're gonna take the whole, I guess I would give the whole series like a 3, because if you take, I guess maybe it averaged to 3.5 because the first one was a 3, the last one was a 3, and the middle was a 4. So that's, what's 10 divided by 3? It's a 3.33 repeating, okay? So yeah, that feels right to me. 3.3 for the series. So I know that many people say that the live ship is like their favorite. So I hope that is the case for me. And I'm hoping that like getting, because like I do feel like even from reading this, like because you're so in Fit's perspective, like the idea of getting like, we kind of get Burr's perspective because of the skill, sort of. But like if we could actually have been in Burrage's head to know what he was thinking and feeling at the moment, I feel like that would have improved this experience. And I hope that like the other, she could, I don't know, like I'm hoping that the books that follow Fitz in the future are not first person, but I think they are. I'm pretty sure that the Tawny Man and Fitz and the Fool, but I do, okay, also like Fitz and the Fool and Night Eyes, like they are so interesting. But like, what was the point of the antagonist? Like, what was the deal? Like, did we even end this in a way where, like, who is the king? I'm like, was that even answered by the end of this book? Like, what was the ending? I do love the wit bond between. I mean, there was like a scene where like they were like using the wit and the skill together. Like, it was all very. Again, the magic system is very intriguing, but it's like I'm intrigued, but like not satisfied. I'm intrigued, but I'm not satisfied. That is like a perfect summary of how I feel about this trilogy. I'm still intrigued, but I am not satisfied. I'm upset because I feel like I was thinking that sound like you were good. I'm waiting for you to get great, but you weren't even good. You were mediocre. I'm waiting for you to get good. I'm still waiting for you to even get good. Like for this length, to give me this length, but I mean, like, I'm so sad because like this part was so good. This part could have, if we really stepped it up in the second half, y'all had me in the first. She really had me in the first half, and then it just lost half a star more and more as the second half of the book went on. Like I'm so upset. I'm so upset. I do still like her writing, and I like all the things that I've said I've liked, but like, man, and I don't understand how y'all are connecting to Fitz on a level. Like, what is so great about Fitz? Please explain it to me. Please tell me why you like this man. I truly don't get it. Like, he is so, like the way he's written, he reacts in ways, like I don't think he reacts. Like he just feels like everything is just happening to him and he doesn't take any accountability or agency or, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm so upset. And I guess that's how we're gonna have to end the video because I'm doing a spoiler-filled vlog for this, and those are my spoilery thoughts. I'm excited it's out of the way. I'm excited. I knew this though. I knew that I wanted to read this trilogy first because I don't feel like I will ever reread this. But I wanted to have the context. I wanted to be like, okay, I want the context because I am gonna want to read the Live Ship Traders books, and then I'm gonna want to immediately go into the following Fitz books, but I never want to read this book again. So that's how we're ending the video. And yeah, I will leave my Instagram, Goodreads, and Twitter in the description for you to check out if you would like. And we can message and argue about this series all day long. But otherwise, have a great day. Bye.